Nashville. It makes us feel
So
important
fun.
today. It's fun.
It is.
That is so amazing. So hi everybody. Sorry, I interrupted you. I'm just going to say good afternoon. You know, it's May 30th already. Can you believe it? And today we have Sabrina Tabler back with us for part 3 of 3, implementing your rural brand. Before we get started, I am just going to read off a land acknowledgement. As we gather here today, we acknowledge that we are on Treaty 6 territory and homeland of the Métis. We pay our respects to the First Nations and Métis ancestors of this place and reaffirm our relationship with one another. So before we get started, Jenny, would you like to just welcome the group?
Hello, everyone. My name's Jenny Glessman, and I'm from the Sage Hill Community Futures Office. Just like to welcome everybody on this beautiful day. I hope everybody's enjoying the sun like we are. I'm not going to take up much of your time. I'm going to turn this over to Sabrina and let her talk to us about implementing your brand. So we'll turn it over to you.
Great. Okay, well, thank you, Jenny and Jessica. It's great to be here again. As they mentioned, I'm coming to you from Nashville, so a little international element to the community futures that's happening, which it's so great that we're able to do this. Like, I can literally work from anywhere, so it's a blessing to be able to share with you today. So as Jessica mentioned, this is the third part of a 3-part series that I've done. If you missed the other ones, we did one, you can, I think, see them on their YouTube channel. So I did one on social media planning, and I did one on specifically what a brand is. So now we're getting into the nitty-gritty of implementing your brand. But before that, I just wanted to lightly touch on a few of just review some of the other elements as well. Okay, so my name is Sabrina Tabler. I'm the owner of Grayce Consulting, which is a marketing and brand consulting company. My greatest accolade is being a boy mama to 2 amazing sons. They are both crazy energetic and are just lovely at the same time. 2 things I cannot live without are chocolate and nachos. And I would also add in there peanut butter. That is one of my, another one of my loves. I'm a small town girl from Elrose, Saskatchewan. And my biggest passion is when I'm able to help propel another business to go forward. That is the ultimate goal of mine and my business, is to see other businesses thrive. So we're just going to, like I said, we're just going to review very quickly what is a brand. So a brand is who you are as a business. It's how you make people feel, the relationships and the people that you serve, the overall vibe of your business, the values your business embodies, your uniqueness, and your reputation. Did you notice I didn't say anything about logo, colors, anything like that? I think that's what initially people think of as a brand, but it's so much more than that. The visual identity is a part of it, but this is your essence. So being clear about who you are, what you stand for, and why people should come to you. A few very common brands that I just wanted to pop in their logo, because what the logo serves as, and the colors and all that, it immediately gives you a feeling. So whether you've had a good experience or a bad experience with some of these companies, you immediately have a feeling that you're given. That's either a positive brand or it could be a negative brand. The Google Maps one for me sometimes gives me a negative feeling. Sometimes it guides me in the right place. Sometimes I drive in circles. So the next piece I wanted to talk about is why cohesiveness is important. So when we're talking about implementing a brand, it's the cohesiveness that you want to see throughout all of your platforms, all of your marketing, anything that your business is communicating out. You want that cohesiveness. So what that does is it creates that comfort and credibility. So when people see and hear the messaging of your company, and they hear your shared values over and over again, and they see your logo and your colors tied into that, they're immediately going to feel comfort, like, oh, right, that's the brand that I've seen over and over again. That's Grayce Consulting. I remember her. She was on a webinar, and then I've seen her website, and then I've seen her on social media. And so if I don't have consistency in those places, that level of comfort in what I offer is going to go down. Also credibility. So you want to have that consistent and cohesive feel to all that you do. So here is a little bit of an example of some cohesiveness, what that looks like. So no matter what platform this company is on, you get a real feel for their business. Same with this as well. And like I said, it does incorporate the look into it. Then you dive into the messaging and what they're all about. And the colors need to reflect the values of that person. So it's not just the colors. When I do a brand development, we dive into the why behind your business. And then why consistency is critical. So you want to be consistent with your branding. Sometimes this can be tricky. If it's just you and you're trying to manage all of that with your brand, it can be tricky. So the consistency creates familiarity, like I mentioned, trust, comfort, that recognition, that recall. The more they see your brand, the more they hear your messaging, they're going to be able to recall your name. And they're going to ultimately, when a name pops into mind, they're going to come to you first because they will have remembered you. It's that constant reminder, and it reinforces every time they see your brand. One of the most iconic brands is Apple. They, from their packaging to their products, to their pricing, to everything that they offer, you know the Apple brand when you see it. You also know it in their products, in their quality. And so it's consistent across all. Now, Apple probably has a giant marketing department and brand police every step of the way. They are not going to let anything go out that is public about their company or their products or their packaging, nothing, without a huge marketing department that is on their brand. Now, I get we're not all Apple. So how do we maintain that brand consistency? So it's a matter of just being really on top of it. So not allowing differences to happen in anytime you're communicating out about your business. So whether that's in digital form or in your signage or in your products, your packaging, anywhere your business is communicated out to the public should have your look and feel to it. And so the first element of being able to do that is brand strategy. So the brand strategy incorporates 4 different elements. So as I mentioned, visual identity is just one of those elements. So it encompasses your color palette, your font, it can be a mood board of like, who are you targeting? And then images and graphics that go alongside that really draw out that essence of your business. Like I mentioned, essence and vibe is probably the most important. It's your brand personality. So if your company was a person, who would they be? What would they be like? What's the emotional connection that you have to your target audience? And what are your shared values? So ultimately, you are trying to attract customers that share the same values that are a big part of your business. If you don't communicate out what those values are, then you're not going to be able to draw in the right people. So in doing that, your voice and your messaging is super, super important. So doing some work on developing what is your purpose? What is your vision for your company? Where do you want to see your company go and the impact that you want to make in the world? And what is your mission? What are you setting out to do? Who exactly, very specifically, is your target audience and your audience goals? So how are you trying to reach them? How do you want to impact them? How do you want them to feel? And then your own goals. So where you're headed as a business. And then distribution goes into a little bit more of the marketing end of it. So this gets into the platforms of where your brand is distributed, but it needs to be part of the brand strategy because that determines some of the elements that you want to incorporate in your brand. So maybe you're a company that is not online at all. I can't imagine any company that's not online right now, but maybe there is. But you want to think of social media, website, your email campaigns, your advertising, signage. So maybe it's billboard advertising that you're doing, radio, TV, and any events that you attend either online or in person. Maybe you're sponsoring an event even. So brands are essentially patterns of familiarity, meaning, fondness, and reassurance that exists in the minds of people. So you are just giving them that feeling of your business right away. So if they think of you, what comes to mind? What do you want to come to mind? And then we go into, so how do you implement all of that? You've got all the pieces, you've got the brand kit, you've got the logo, you've got the color palette, you've got your messaging, your mission, your vision, all of that. Now what? So you're going to take that purpose and that vision and that mission, which is ultimately the why behind your business, and you're going to put it into every single platform. And anytime you're communicating out, there's going to be elements of that purpose and that vision weaved throughout. So here's an example of a client of mine that she's very upfront about what her core values are. And so she lists them. This is a little snippet from her website. So integrity, authenticity, courage, and then there's a few more, teamwork. I'm trying to remember the other three now. Love, and I think it's transparency is the other one. So when you have a clear vision and measurable goals, so when people know where you're headed as a business, they ultimately want to come alongside you. They want to be part of that vision and part of your mission. And so in that, they want to come to you as a service provider or as they want to buy your products. So what is your brand personality? So if you were the persona of a person, who are you? And in amongst the sea of other businesses, what makes you stand out? So this is another client of mine, and I just wanted to show you, this is a little snippet of their Instagram. So Holistic Physio and Wellness, they really embody this circle of care. So regardless of the practitioner that you see there, they are going to refer you to, it doesn't matter if you need maybe chiro, or you want to see a physio, or you need functional nutrition. They're going to guide you to each practitioner as they see fit. And not only that, they're going to communicate to each other. So the circle of care is very, very woven throughout all of their services because they ultimately want to serve their clients the best. So that is part of their brand. That is what they communicate out as the way that they operate and do business. This is another element that they incorporate, which is the Pentagon of Wellness. So there's all of these 6 elements that they put into every single Instagram post, every blog, everything that they are doing. And it's a really great way, again, the visual elements of it, they're taking their brand colors, but they're putting it again into this beautiful, almost like a little mini brand, but it's a subset of these images and colors that are all still their same brand, but then they are now incorporating the Pentagon of Wellness, and then they can carry that through anytime they're talking about these elements. This is also Holistic Physio and Wellness. I just wanted to show you this too, because there is also a very fun element to their brand and marketing. So they'll often have us incorporate little memes and giffies and really funny little elements, because that is what they want to portray. Does not mean that this fits for everyone. I definitely have some clients that that is not a fit. And I encourage anyone to veer away from feeling like they have to implement those things because they've seen it on somebody else's account. If it isn't a fit and it doesn't align, don't do it. So you always want to be asking yourself, how can we bring value to their lives and connect on an emotional level? So that's always what you're after when you're implementing your brand into any platform. So this is another element of my client through Ascentum, that they share what their purpose is. So I'll just read a little bit here. Ascentum is a purpose-driven business on a mission to be both financially sustainable and socially impactful. We clearly see the need in the world around us and are proud to stand up in service to others. In addition to helping our clients live more meaningful and abundant lives, we seek to uplift the people around us. We have made a commitment to donate 20% of the revenue earned through our coaching practice to programs that improve financial literacy and advance economic well-being in undeserved communities. So this really shows the heart of this business. So not only are they saying the words, but they're putting it into action. So again, that's part of a brand. It is often a part that people forget, that the actions that you're doing out there in the community are a reflection of your brand and your reputation, which ultimately come back and really help supplement your business. So you're always looking for opportunities to engage your audience. So whether that's events that you're attending in person or online webinars or presentations. And then what I encourage you to do is notice that the current brand alignments. So are there companies that you have shared values with? And I want you to start making strategic collaborations with those companies. So if you have seen, there's some companies that will collaborate on giveaways, and it's a great way to leverage both of your audiences and just get a bigger reach. And then you're always looking for ways to create that consistency. So through social media, your website, email campaigns. So that's a lot of the digital work, any signage, any clothing. If you have wearables, if you go to trade shows, your packaging. I think I mentioned a few before, like in radio and TV and billboards. So any way that it's being projected out, you want to look for that consistency. So that means providing these suppliers with your logo, with your brand colors, with who you are as a business, which ultimately you've done all the work of those reflecting who you are, what your essence is. So then you want to make sure that they have all the elements that they need to portray you accurately. You don't want to leave it up to them. This is where you have to be a bit of the brand police. You don't want to leave it up to them to grab a crappy, like low resolution logo of yours, or maybe even the wrong logo. You want it to be as professional as you are. So you want to make sure that they have the elements that they need. So again, here is the client of mine. I just wanted to show you the cohesiveness that ends up happening even in digital platforms. When you incorporate, they're all similar. They're not all the same, but they have similar elements to them. And you can immediately go, oh, that's Ascentum, like right away. So this is her Facebook account. So what you can do on Facebook is have that header is really important. You can really highlight your brand up in the header, and then the little profile portion as well. Same thing on Instagram. You can have the little profile circle. Then you can also have those little icons across the top there that are the highlights. So you can have those branded as well. And you'll notice that these are the core values little icons that then they've weaved into this. So it's all those little elements and little details, as many as you can incorporate all the way through. And then of course, all of her socials have, and they're not the same, but they'll have elements that are like constantly weaved in throughout so that it immediately shows, oh, this is coming from, her name is Lisa Baker, is the coach. So this is totally Lisa Baker's brand. This is a Centum. I know it right away. Same thing. This is just an example on Twitter. This is her LinkedIn account. And then this is a sample of her email campaigns. She uses MailChimp, and we incorporate this right into her MailChimp. So you'll notice that she has a bit of her brand colors throughout in the text. We always incorporate her color scheme, and then just the essence throughout the emails is reflective of a Centum in every single word, and it's intentional. This is a little snippet from her website. So as you can see, even right on the front page, a high performer with big goals and even bigger dreams, your ascent to powerful heights begins here. So tools that can help that are a couple of my favorite. So the first one is Canva. So once you've done all the brand development, you know your purpose, vision, mission, you've got your brand colors, you've got your logo, you feel quite set. Now it's like, okay, now what? So in Canva, you can create what's called a brand kit. So you can put your logo and your color palette right in there. That way, then it is that a little bit of a brand control so that you don't veer off. Canva, I think I mentioned this in my last webinar, that Canva can be a bit of a wormhole where you can start to because there's so many options and so many cool looks on there that it can be really easy to kind of veer off your brand because, oh, that's a cool font, and oh, that's a pretty color. And then before you know it, your whole social media and everything, or, different documents that you produce could all of a sudden start looking off brand or like somebody else's business completely. And so you can also load the fonts that you use in there too. So right into the fonts, that way, again, it adds that layer of control. And then there are actual brand controls. So there's color control, font control, and design approval. So if you've got a team working with you, then you can set up some of those controls so that you really, they cannot, even if they're tempted, they cannot use another font or another color in your marketing material. And then there's a new feature called brand templates, and I'm just starting to dabble in this, but if you have certain templates that you use over and over again, then you can put them into this templates folder and use those. It helps also to go back if there's some, especially in social media, you can tend to use the same sort of look over and over. So if you have that, then put them into the templates, then you don't have to go searching for them. And then this is a scheduling platform called Later that I like to use. You'll notice at the top here, it says schedule to, and there's little check boxes, and you can check any social media platform that you want to post to. So it's an easy way of being able to take your brand elements, your social posts that you've worked hard on developing, and then blast them out just with a click of a button to all those different social platforms. So again, that makes it easy to keep messaging that you've worked hard on and the colors and the images consistent throughout all those platforms. Another one is MailChimp that I like to use. So this is an email campaign software. So you can develop your newsletters anytime you're communicating out to your audience, your mailing list. You can create templates in here as well. As you can see, it's just a basic editor, so you can add in text boxes, images, all of those kind of things. And again, with those templates, you can create the same sort of look and feel each time, maybe change up a few elements and then send it out again. Another one that I love, it has more of a bit of a design flair to it, is called Flowdesk, but it's an email campaign program as well. Okay, so now you might be feeling like, okay, that's great. That sounds wonderful. And I went through it very quickly, but what do I do? I still feel confused. You might not know how, or you're trying to come up with ideas, unsure where to start. There's not enough people to implement this properly in your business, if it's just you especially. So that's why I came up with my strategy. I feel for people, especially solopreneurs, that don't have the marketing team. So I come up with my programs are simple and sustainable. Those are two of my core values. That's what I want in my business. That's what I want for my clients. The way I do it is I have a you-centric approach. So the way I look at it is there's the only unique thing in this world is you. So that is your greatest marketing asset. So who you are as a person, that's who people want to know. And there's only one of you. So once you align your brand with you and who you are to the core, then your brand will be well aligned, your sales will take off, your business will thrive, and you'll have your best light coming forward. You'll have a more effective brand. It will grow because you feel good about it. And you'll have that fulfillment. You'll be so proud of having your brand out there. There's nothing a worse feeling than going, oh, that did not reflect me. I think some people have had that if they've tried to hire out even their social media. They've had, maybe it doesn't really reflect them, which can be sometimes a bit of a tricky thing. But what I've found is that is Grayce Consulting's ultimate goal is to reflect you, exactly you, every single time. If you're still not sure, I love coffee, virtual and in person. So I'd love for you to reach out. I love talking all things business. And even if you just want to bounce ideas, there's no pressure sales at all. I just love people, and I love talking about brand and marketing. So if you're just not sure and you'd like to just grab a few minutes of my time, even an hour, I'm totally good with that. So I offer a marketing toolkit, I do brand development, and then we also do brand and marketing management. So if you need ongoing support, we'll do that on a monthly basis as well. So between good and great, there's Grayce. That is my tagline. I also help develop taglines as well. So today, for anyone on the webinar, I offer 50% off brand development. So you just need to send Jessica your email address and she will forward those on to me. So if you're interested in that, you can pop your email into the chat. I would love to help you out. And thank you so much for being here today. And if you have any questions, I'd love to take questions now.
That was awesome. And we've got a few minutes, so maybe we'll just get the ladies that are on, if they have a question or if they just want to introduce themselves and what business you're with, and we'll meet Sabrina that way. Maybe I'll start with Amanda.
Hi. I am Amanda. I have a business called Ageless Optics. And Sabrina, I have to return an email to you probably today.
No problem. No problem. It's nice to see you again.
Yes, you too. So one thing I'm struggling with is that I don't know if I'm going to be a big social media, have a big social media presence, because my clientele is more optometrists than opticians. So I'm not quite sure which way I'm going yet.
And do you think just because you'll do more in person reaching out to them that the social media maybe isn't necessary?
Yes, like social media, it's free advertisement. So I do want to do something on it. I just don't know which direction I'm really going to go with that. Likely Instagram and Facebook. I'm comfortable with those two.
Right. Yeah. So I think I mentioned this in another webinar that I've done. So the demographics in those two platforms are significantly different. So you'd be reaching different audiences with the two. So I always recommend doing both because Facebook is the mid 40s plus, and Instagram is the 40s to like 20, and even younger than that, because my 15-year-old son is on Instagram too. But then kind of also in his age is like Snapchat and TikTok and all of those kind of things. So it really depends on who your demographic is. So I would say Facebook is your number one right now for optometrists, just given the age demographic, but Instagram is going to be your up and coming optometrists and the ones that are maybe in school, and that's just the age that they're at, and they'd be moving along that. They also don't move into Facebook. Facebook has kind of just died off. That younger generation. I feel like I'm in my mid 40s, so it's like I'm like right in the middle there, where like I started on Facebook, but now Instagram is like my platform of choice, but then I bebop back and forth all the time on it. Yeah. And I would just recommend if you don't want to really go hard into social media, just start off really light with it. Don't put a lot of pressure on yourself to be posting every day. I think that's what scares a lot of people off, is that feeling like, okay, if I'm going to be on here, I have to post every single day and all this list of to-dos. Even just starting with once a week, it's that consistent. No one's going to be looking at, oh, she doesn't post very often. What they're going to be seeing is they're going to be looking for consistencies, because it's a credibility check. So they're going to hear about you. They're going to maybe check out your website. Then they're going to check out your socials and see if you haven't posted since 2020. They're going to go, oh, is she even in business? Does she even have?
Right.
But if they see, oh, she just posted last week, perfect. They'll check out a few. They might scroll back and go, oh, I really like her stuff. I really like her vibe. And then they'll contact you. Which I will be contacting you, because my husband's glasses, since the last webinar, literally like the earpieces on the back, he has these little like comfort things on the back. The other one popped off. I'm like, your glasses are a disaster.
Yeah, and quick fix
Keep
too.
thinking of you.
Perfect.
That
Great.
sounds wonderful. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thanks for joining us again, Amanda.
No problem.
Okay, the next one on my screen is Nikki. Did you want to join us and tell us a little bit about your business or your business idea? Or if you have any questions for Sabrina?
Hello. I don't necessarily have a business. I just work for a few organizations within Weyburn, Saskatchewan. So I've been joining in on these calls just to make sure I'm kind of on the right track on branding.
Oh, great.
I appreciate all of your insight for these webinars.
Awesome. Well, thank you for being here. It's great to have you. Have you been to any of them that I've done on the rural branding?
No.
Okay, so I've done specific ones on rural branding. So you might want to check those ones out. And if you've got questions about that or want to join in a conversation further on that, I'd be happy to.
Awesome. Thank you.
I'll send you the link to that video.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Sabrina, how do you recommend that an organization kind of moves forward with branding? Do you suggest that there's a committee? Do you suggest that they hire out? Like, what do you find is the most effective for working within let's say a nonprofit organization?
Oh, that's a really great question. So I would say, dependent on the amount of people that you have available, would be a big determinant. So if there is someone that you can dedicate just to marketing and branding, awesome. That is always the best option to go, because then they are a singular person that everything can kind of funnel through. Doesn't mean that that particular person has to do everything, but they're kind of the overseer of all things marketing and branding for that particular company's brand. So whether it's a nonprofit or a business, I highly, highly recommend that if you have that. If you don't have that available to you, and even if you have that available, you might need to outsource some branding as well. So solopreneurs, I would like hands down recommend that you hire out brand development and brand and marketing help. I look at it for my business, like this brand and marketing is like my love and my passion. So of course I'm going to do that for myself, for my own business. Although it's hard when you're, what is that analogy? When you're inside the bottle, you can't see the label. So sometimes it's hard for me to have an objective view. So I quite often will have my employee help me out with that because I get too in it. So another perspective is always good, but I would never, and I did this from the day I started, do my bookkeeping. That is not my jam, not my thing, nor do I, like I could do it. And I think that's what a lot of people end up thinking, well, I can do this. Like Canva's easy to use. I can do my own marketing. And then they get lost in it because it's not their passion. It's not their love. They can't see objectively. And quite often they really need the outside help and perspective. So I would say outsourcing the brand development and the implementation and just the ongoing consistent marketing help, even from a consulting standpoint. Like I've got a client of mine that we just meet monthly and we go through, she just brings ideas. We talk about future growth, maybe what next to start implementing, and like all kinds of ideas come out of that. Yeah, that was a big, long-winded way of answering that.
It was great.
No, that's very helpful. I just know sometimes things can, and we've touched on this with your rural implementation webinar that you have done. And often, in rural communities, you see the poster that was printed and somebody's taken a picture of it and then uploaded it to Facebook. And I mean, it's not doing them any favors by just taking it a few steps further and not building it in the first place in Word, by using even the free version of Canva and downloading it as an image, just these things that just really do help with elevating a business's or even like a team or an organization, a nonprofit or a community group's presence within a community.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. I also wanted to mention, you reminded me of the free version of Canva. So the professional version is what has the brand kit element in it, but the free version, if you're using that, what you can do is if you've got anything that you're working on, if you start off with just putting a few colors into that brand or just into the first maybe page of something, or if you're developing a bunch of Instagram posts, just putting your brand colors in that first one, then it will have those at the top of the color palette always for you to choose from. So it's a little like brand kit hack. It will also do the same with the font. So if you put those in on that very first one, it can be like your little mini brand kit at the start, and then you go from there. You have to do that every time. So once you're ready, upgrading to the professional version, I would highly recommend it, but there's always those little hacks that are always good.
That's great. Yeah, Canva's, I know our business, my husband and I own a business, and we upgraded to the Pro. It's inexpensive. It's like, I think $140 some a year. It's the best money we ever spent, I think, on a program to use. It's wonderful that way.
It's so user friendly.
Yeah. Oh, it is. Yeah, it is. Exactly. I think we had Vicki Ann. Did you have a question or want to introduce yourself? If not, that's fine. And I know, Joanne, you just joined. We are recording. So if you missed the first part, we'll make sure that you can see that. We're just having everybody introduce themselves, say where they're from. If you wanted to do that, go right ahead. Oh, and just Joanne said she's from Humboldt. And I know there was another question in the chat about the webinar that we did for the rural marketing. It's actually recorded and Jessica will send it out. We actually have it housed on our YouTube channel. So she'll send the link out to everybody if they want to watch that one as well, to give you some more information, because I feel like that You do, you kind of feel like, ah. So, and actually my husband and I did sign up. We're going through this process. So I think it's going to help us lots. I'm trying to answer all your questions.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah, it is. It made us have a very interesting Saturday night conversation. He
Oh.
laid on the couch and I sat with a pen and paper and asked him the questions. And we really actually, we had a very interesting conversation and made us think about some things. We've been in business, what, 7 years, 8 years, and we hadn't talked about some of this stuff. So it is a really good process to go through.
Do you know, Jenny, every single client of mine has said the same thing. When they go through that, they love the process because it brings up stuff that's like, oh yeah, like we really, like you just get sometimes in the mechanics of business and you forget even why you're doing the business or what the real passion is behind it. And that is your brand. Like that's what you want to shine forward. So if you don't really think about it, then of course that's not going to be able to come out. So I love hearing that.
A couple times I'm like, whoa, you're talking too fast. I couldn't get the notes wrote down. So I'm interested to get it to you now. So I promise it's coming.
Oh, I can't wait. It'll be great.
Okay, good. Okay, if anybody doesn't have any more questions, we'd like to thank everybody for joining us today. Jessica has a little bit about a survey.
Yes, so I just wanted to add that there is a survey built into Zoom. So as soon as we log out, it will pop up for you. We sure do appreciate it if you could complete the survey. We are creating our next year of training events, and so your feedback is really appreciated. And it's only 4 questions.
We keep it simple.
Yeah.
So with that, we just want to thank everybody. And Sabrina's joining us today from her vacation in Nashville. So we hope you have a great holiday.
Oh, thank you. I just realized I'm like, you guys could probably hear this music in the background. Can you hear it?
Just very, very slightly, like just a smidge.
Just once in a while. Yeah, I thought. Yeah. But anyway, everybody have a great afternoon. Enjoy the sun wherever you are.
Yeah.
And we are back in 2 weeks. We're changing it up a little bit. We're having Procurement Canada, right? So we're getting away from the marketing a little bit and we're going to learn about something a little bit different next in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So
sounds
with
great.
that, everybody have a great day.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Take care.